New York's classic rock, Q1043.
Bob, when you surprised us with a Zoom call about a week ago telling us that you were going to be here in New York and were available to be our very, very first in-studio guest in 15 months, you revealed that you had started your career as a comedian when you were 17 years old in Philadelphia.
Right.
And then spontaneously I sang for you, if you will recall.
It was beautiful.
Except that I'm not a very good singer, but I happen to know people who are. So this is for you.
Oh, my.
So welcome, Bob.
Yes.
I am honored that you got some man to hold himself to sing that high. That was so nice. And so the Paul McCartney gets money?
Yeah, Paul McCartney
yeah.
and the John Lennon estate.
That's so cool that I got them some money because they've been hurting. This is that was really adorable. Who did that?
We know, we have a friend. We know someone.
You know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, we know a
We
guy.
know a guy.
And he's got a recorder of some
We
kind.
know a guy.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, so 17, I used to come up here and work at Catch a Rising Star and the Improv. Didn't work. I'd wait in line 12 hours to try to get on stage. Did the whole sign-up thing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah, there's a gremlin in the thing because you haven't had a guest for over a year, right?
I know. Yeah.
It's too much high end. That's what it is.
You know what it is if you just turn down your headphones and take
Oh,
them
it's
off
my headphones.
because you don't need them anymore.
Oh, I don't need my headphones.
You don't need your headphones.
Well, that was for the song.
Ah, yes.
All right, so they turned off the volume. How's that?
Okay,
Thank you.
that is just
My hair looks
fine.
better.
That is just fine. All right, so
I can't hear you. No, I'm kidding. I mean, you're right next to me, but you're right next to me, guys.
now when
Yes.
Shelley made me coffee. You came in for.
A
Sorry, Jim.
hug.
Sorry,
we
I'm excited.
hugged.
yeah, she drove in 70 some miles just to make
75.
the coffee this morning.
You came from
75
Florida?
Woke up at 1 in the morning just for you, Bob
God, I know you
Saget.
were right next to me. I said, no more coffee, Shelley. I got to sleep.
Well, so you like a lot of other young comics. You just
Thank you.
mentioned
65.
You just mentioned you would stand online.
Yeah.
And that is the way that it works, is that at a lot of these clubs, on these stages that have a lot of prestige, the fact is people started out working for free.
Yeah. When I was here, I would just go up on stage. Catch, I would have, doesn't exist anymore. But now there's many great clubs here. The Comedy Cellar is one of my favorites here. Caroline's. There's so many great clubs. Stand Up New York. And a lot of people have had a hard, this is,
But
to
those-
have them come back now is
know.
like amazing.
I know, but those open mic nights, that's
Yeah.
when you sign up and stand online all day, and there's no guarantee that you'll actually even get on.
No, and it happened to me. My big break, one of the big breaks that kept being like, "Oh, I've made it," and then nothing for 8 years. Oh, I made it, another 8 years. But I was at the Comedy Store in L.A. and that was 1978, and one of my first MCs was David Letterman, and the people that were coming up to me after I became irregular. That sounds wrong, but it became irregular. But the owner, Mitzi Shore, said, "You should work here." I said, "But I'm going to go to USC Film School and be a director." "No, you should work here." And I was working for free, so I should work there. And I did it because the people I was watching were Robin Williams, Michael Keaton, and Billy Crystal, and Jimmy Walker, and all these stars that it wasn't stars, funny, amazing people. And then I didn't think I was going to be a comedian, and some people are still wondering. But and then Richard Pryor and all these people were coming up to me because I was very strange, and I had an odd sense of humor. And then I went, I must be. They reinforced to me that I was a funny person because people that I looked at as, not people say legend, icon. It's just they were just the funniest, most talented people that anybody's ever seen, and many of them to this day are those people. So for 8 years I was in that building and then touring the country. So I was seeing a lot of popcorn ceilings in little hotels.
But you're a comedian and an actor and a director and a writer, and you've been a broadcast television show host.
Right.
It's been quite the career. But I was thinking about something that you did that must have been extraordinarily challenging. And that was on the HBO series Entourage.
Yeah.
Because you played Bob Saget on that.
But that was just the name. I swear.
And so what I'm trying to figure out is, were you able to create what it was that your character, since you were playing yourself, was doing, or were writers in a writing room writing what Bob's lines were going to be, and you had to learn the lines that someone else wrote for the character that was you?
It's very interesting. I followed that completely because Doug Ellen had been a friend. I'd known him. He was the exec producer and writer or creator of Entourage, which could not be made today in the same way. But they're talking about it. They have a podcast called Victory, and all the guys are on it, Kevin Connolly and Kevin Dillon and Doug. And Doug saw my stand-up, and then I'd gone through the family television stuff, and then the Full House had ended, and I think video shows just ended, and I started directing stuff. So he went, Saget, you want to do this? I'm going to write you. And I went, okay. And I read the script, and I was kind of weak in it. It was a character that was like his wife got all the money, and it was kind of like BoJack Horseman, where some people say, oh, but it's based on Saget. It's like I talked to Will Arnett about BoJack Horseman because it's about a failed horse, or used to be a sitcom father or something on TV. And Will Arnett said, no, it's not about you at all. I'm telling you, it's not about you. Don't believe them. So I believed it. I am Batman, So he's another one that said that. But anyway, I said, no, make me harder. Make me. He said, I'm going to make you I can't say any of those words, but I'm going to be, you're going to be a bad so-and-so.
Bad dude.
Bad man. He said, but you'll be funny. But you're gonna have a lot of testosterone, and you'll be like, yeah, I got 6 houses. I don't care. I gave 3 to my wife, and that ex-wife. And so that was the attitude to come in with bravado. And obviously it's not me. And then one time I was in my backyard. I'm so happily married now, and I thank the wind and stars for that. But back then I had a girlfriend, and she said, you're acting just like your Entourage character. And this is a long time ago. And I said, no, I'm not. And I was at the pool with her, and I'm in a black robe with a cigar, and I haven't shaved for 4 days. And I looked in the mirror and went, oh, no. What am I? It's just I go between complete insecurity and then complete confidence. But that's what stand-ups are by nature. You go on stage, but before you're pretty confident because you know what you want to do. You're driven for the work. And then after it's over, you feel great. But then you go the next day, it's life. You're a human, and usually insecurity is what drives you to write material or observations. But yeah, he wrote me every time. And then
okay, so I was curious.
I'm sorry, you wanted to talk?
You had to memorize.
you wanted to talk on your own show.
You had to memorize lines.
Yeah.
To be you.
It took no effort.
But I just thought that's what I thought would happen. I thought that was funny. They gave you a script, and it said.
It was so easy because good writing is really easy. And when I've done, the theater here, people go, how do you learn all that? And it's like, no, but I've been lucky that I've been in well-written things, the few Broadway things I've done. But that particular show, you weren't nominatable for an Emmy Award if you played yourself.
Huh.
And then 1 year after I played myself, Michael J. Fox played himself on Curb, and he won the Emmy for playing himself because they changed the rule because Michael J. Fox was nominated. And I would have done the same thing, actually, because when I watched him, did you ever see him on stage with Coldplay from 4 years ago?
No.
Google it, and he played it in Back to the Future. It's Johnny Be Good, and he plays the lick on the guitar, and it's 4 years ago. So obviously he's heavily affected by his Parkinson's. He's such a hero. I recommend it for everybody to take a look at. It just makes you feel so good inside that to have overcome that and to be able to be on stage. And Coldplay is, it's just so beautiful that he was with them.
All right, well, Bob Saget is our guest, and we'll be
talking
right back.
about nothing.
Talking about something really cool to send people to YouTube to find the Michael J. Fox.
It's
Coldplay
really quite inspiring.
Video. Bob Saget's our guest. We'll be right back. It's 8:17 here at Q104.3. 8:24 here at Q104.3. Bob Saget is with us at the Q. And was the coffee good, really?
Coffee's amazing.
Okay.
I drank half of it already. I mean,
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Shelley-
And I'm wearing a diaper just in case it wasn't.
Shelley was so nervous. We're gonna do the shameless plugs in just a moment here at Q104.3. But last week, Bob, you performed 4 nights with Dave Chappelle and John Mayer.
Yeah.
We all know how hilariously funny and amazing Dave is.
Right.
Now, John Mayer, I hated John Mayer. I couldn't stand John Mayer.
I fell in love with him at the get-go because we had a different circumstance. But
Well, I
please
hated
continue.
him because I heard the first song of his.
Well, he also had some self-loathing of Wonderland.
No, but I mean that took over the whole world. You know, your body is. A
Oh, so you
wonderland.
hated that because it was so popular?
Because it was so fantastic and it was melting the hearts of all the women of the planet Earth.
And he's continued
He was
to do
jealous.
that. And men.
And, yeah, I was jealous.
And I understand now.
I
Like
was
jealous
jealous.
of
I would
Sting
say-
in
I-
the same way,
Because you-
nine
I
and a
would
half
hear that-
hours.
I would hear that song and I would think, damn. The guy writes, he panders with a song, your body is a wonderland, and everybody loves him.
But you know he was talking directly to you.
But anyway, then, of course, besides his very successful, pop artist career, he hooks up with Dead and Company.
Yeah.
And
gets respect. Gets
he's
total
he's
respect.
one of the best guitarists in the world.
Yes.
And there he is doing
yeah,
Jerry Garcia.
gets beyond
Right,
respect.
right.
The Dead fans love him.
Right.
And they were skeptical.
Yeah.
They had
of course.
they had a show me attitude,
Right.
and he showed them, and they love him. This guy is such an extraordinary talent.
He is, and he's also one of the dearest friends you could possibly have. So that's why it was interesting when I met him. I had just lost my dad, and I was
Sorry.
doing a benefit. Happens, right? So I had this big scleroderma benefit, which I've been doing for 30 years. I asked him to do it, and he did it. We became friendly. This was like 18 years ago. And then he wanted to do stand-up. I've always wanted to do stand-up, so I took him to a club in L.A., the Laugh Factory, and he did it, and it was the first time, and he had a couple of good laughs. It wasn't a question of, can I get him on? Here's John Mayer. And then he sang something after trying to do some funny perverted farm animal jokes that I, of course, said, "Oh, do that," and then we just started being friends. And he is a miraculous friend. And so when Dave Chappelle, we were doing this summer camp in Yellow Springs, Ohio, in a cornfield with no corn in it, but it had been a cornfield. And it was socially distant and safe, and people wore masks, and they had their temperatures checked. And we did it in September, and then there was an outbreak of COVID, and there was a big problem. And so they closed it down. I got to do one show, and they closed it down. And then Dave said to me, "Bob, when we come back from this break, in our life, all of our lives, and we can do this safely again, you're the first person I'm having back." And then 2 weeks ago, a little more than that, they said, "Would you come back?" And then I did it. And my friends Jeff Ross and John Mayer, John Mayer and Dave Chappelle together have toured and done some things, done some special shows. And that's something for people to see because it's hilarious. They just go into any song. John can play any song, and Dave Chappelle knows the lyrics to almost every song that exists. More than words he's singing with John Mayer. And, it's like adorable. And I just had... and with Donnell Rawlings, and I just had such a good, special time. It took me back to why I even did stand-up in the first place, because you're not always out there with comrades in comedy, and there's only one Dave Chappelle, and yeah, everybody came out. The very last show he did, I was able to do 4 nights, and then they only did 15 shows, and they closed this past weekend, all of it. The Yellow Springs, and Bill Murray showed up at the very end.
Oh.
And everybody went there. David Letterman was there, and of course Chris Rock and Bill Burr, and just amazing shows with wonderful people, and the people in the cornfield in the rain in ponchos, and it was a very, very special time. And so I'm here also in New York, not just to do some stand-up all the time, because I'm in that mode where I haven't been in since 1995, where I went, I've got to, and it's all new stuff that I'm doing, to eventually do a special, but it's really because I get to perform again in front of people. So,
And you get to do that tonight and tomorrow at
I do.
Levity
I
Live
have to do it tonight.
in Nyack. Yeah, tonight.
Oh my God. It's West Nyack, which I didn't know. You told me that last week. I did not know that there was I thought there was an East Nyack.
No, there is no East
No
Nyack.
East Nyack.
Why not?
Because east of Nyack, over the river, is Tarrytown.
Oh, I've been to Tarrytown.
Right.
Isn't that the
And
Headless
then
Horseman?
north
We
of
talked about all of
Yes,
this.
north of Tarrytown, of course, Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, there's nothing like that place.
Yeah, but you're going to Levity Live. This is the shameless plug segment, Bob.
I'm in.
This is the shameless plug segment.
Yes, sir.
So that's Levity Live tonight and tomorrow night. And one show is sold out. And another
Tonight's sold out at 7:30, and tomorrow at 7:30 is sold out. But there's a 9:45. I think there's tickets still available as I say this. So that's one show left tomorrow night at 9:45 if you want to stay up late on a Wednesday. But yeah, it's a lovely club. I think they're not at full capacity, but we're sold out because it can only do what they can do. But I don't think there's any CDC marshals outside.
But I can't believe your work ethic. I mean, here you are getting up early. Aren't you jet lagged from California anyway?
Well, I was actually in Minneapolis. I had a private thing to do. Not a private, a gig. I'm a doctor. Yeah, so I'm a urologist. But I actually just came in yesterday with my wife and had dinner with my daughters last night. And to see the city and to see, the restaurants and the fact that they're able to open on those patio restaurants on the street, it just makes me feel amazing that it's not back yet. Because it won't be, because this is it's a fast, slow opening is what don't quote that. Maybe cut that out in the podcast version. That's a fast, slow opening. I don't know. It doesn't sound good.
All right. Well, Bob Saget, Levity Live.
This is why you're so great. You cut me off when I'm digging a hole I'll never get out of.
That's tonight, tomorrow night, 2 shows. Get a hold of the club.
Yeah.
I
West Nyack. It's Levity Live, or you can go on, bobsaget.com. I had to say, what is it? I don't know.
But bobsaget.com, can you get tickets through
Yeah.
bobsaget.com?
You just go to the thing. The tour's there, and you click on the button, and it's...
Okay, well, that was the shameless plug part that I was trying to encourage.
I'm so glad we
you
got
to do.
through it. Thank you. You're very... it's hard for me to plug my stuff, but I want people to come if they want to come. I don't want to force people. You've got to come to the second show. Bring your family. Wake the kid. You can't bring kids to my stuff, but
right.
I'm not. It's weird because I've been doing a lot of press as I go on tour all around the country because my wonderful friend and publicist Michael O'Brien is standing near us, and so I've been doing a lot of press. And people are saying, "What's your stand-up like?" And I'll say, "Well, it's a little bit." It's more mellow, or it's not as blue, and then fans will start going, "Oh, I don't want to see that," and I'm like, "No, no, it is. It'll." So you're contradicting the interview? I went, "No, I'm just saying, I'm not cursing for the sake of it."
Okay,
and
so it's heavy mellow.
it's heavy. I'm the Barry
mellow.
White of my venue.
Heavy mellow.
It's heavy mellow,
Okay.
which is a whole new kind of comedy.
All right. Bob Saget changes the world of comedy with his brand new heavy mellow performance at Levity Live in Nyack. It's time for the news.
I can't wait.
Here's Shelley.
Thanks for having me.
New York's classic rock. Q1043.